Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into 5 church fathers who literally changed Christianity forever. These weren't just guys, writing books in dusty rooms. They were fighters, preachers, and visionaries who shaped the faith we live today. Some stood up to emperors and wrote prayers that still move hearts 1,000 years later. Stick around by the end of the video and you'll see how these 5 saints are still impacting your life right now. Let's start with Saint Athanasius, and honestly this guy's one of my heroes, because can you imagine that the whole Roman Empire drifting into Arian heresy, saying Jesus was a fully God? Athanasius, just one bishop from Alexandria, refused to budge. He was exiled 5 times for defending the divinity of Christ, and he just stood alone against the emperors, bishops, and mobs, but he wouldn't compromise because of his courage. The Nicene Creed survived intact, and our understanding of who Jesus is stayed orthodox. But what makes Athanasius so inspiring? It is because he wasn't looking for any fights, but when the truth about Jesus was on the line, he stood up no matter what the cost was. And without Athanasius, honestly, Christianity today might not even confess Jesus as God the way we do. And every time you and I say the Nicene Creed, you're echoing the fight that he won against those emperors, bishops, and mobs. Next up, it is Saint Basil the Great. And Saint Basil the Great wasn't just a theologian that was sitting in a room. He was hands-on, and hands down, he was one of the most active. He created lots of hospitals, lots of poorhouses, and schools before schools even were a thing. He set the blueprint for Eastern monasticism, and shaped how communities of believers lived and prayed together, and even wrote prayers and liturgical pieces we still use today in our liturgies. And if you've ever heard teaching about the Holy Trinity explained clearly, that's mostly or partly Basil's work. He gave Christians a way to live out their faith in community and understanding God more deeply. And he basically showed that theology and charity go hand in hand, loving God and loving people. Basil's influence was everywhere around, from how monasteries are run and how Christians think about social care. Now, St. John Chrysostom, his name literally means the golden-mouthed preacher. And trust me, this guy could preach like nobody's business. His homilies were simple, practical, and powerful, calling people to real holiness. He didn't just, preach to the rich and powerful, but he called out injustice and hypocrisy whenever he saw it, which eventually got him exiled too, like St. Athanasius. He also reformed the liturgy a lot, making it more beautiful and meaningful for ordinary Christians. If you've ever been to an Orthodox, like Oriental Orthodox or Eastern Orthodox liturgy and felt the flow of the prayers, the structure, and just the tunes of the hymns, well, you're experiencing his work, because he tuned the worship and turned the liturgy into something people could actually connect with. And even today, when you hear his name attached to the Divine Liturgy, you're touching a living tradition, and he helped shape the liturgy that you hear today. Now, moving on to St. Cyril of Alexandria, and who St. Cyril of Alexandria was someone who fought to protect the truth about who Christ is. In a time when people were splitting Christ into the man and the divine, Cyril stood firm and taught the unity of Christ, one person who is truly God and truly man. And at the time of the Council of Ephesus in 431, he defended calling Mary Theotokos, the Mother of God, because it protects who Jesus is. And a lot of Cyril's writings, or the writings that we know Cyril has wrote, helped the whole church articulate what it means for God to become man. And without Cyril, our understanding of Christ's nature and the incarnation would be way less clear today. Every Christmas hymn that talks about God being born of Mary, that clarity exists because
of Saint Cyril's fight for orthodoxy in Ephesus. And finally, last but not least, Saint Gregory of Narek. Saint Gregory of Narek wasn't fighting emperors or councils. His battles were the human heart. His Book of Lamentations is basically a masterpiece of prayer and repentance. And it is so powerful, it's still prayed today all around the world, not just in the Armenian Church, but worldwide. And St. Gregory of Narek showed that theology isn't just about big debates, but about transforming your soul, and pouring your heart out to God and finding hope in His mercy, because we all fall short of His glory. Gregory's influence is still inspiring Christians over 1,000 years later, and he's an exact reminder that the greatest change sometimes comes not from the councils and controversies, but from deep and honest prayer and repentance. So that's all from me. Those were the 5 church fathers who changed Christianity forever. St. Athanasius, St. Basil, St. John Chrysostom, St. Cyril, and St. Gregory of Narek. To me, they weren't just, historical figures. They shaped the way we worship, believe, and even pray today. And a question to you guys: which one of these saints surprised you the most? Or which one do you think or want to learn more about? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And if you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the history and spirituality of the apostolic churches. Thank you.